Straight ahead on 12 News, a long trip back home. We'll show you one of the great sights of spring. Plus, a project 4 years in the making. It's something Brooklyn Center can finally celebrate. But first, a proposed nightclub and restaurant that's causing concern for a Brooklyn Park neighborhood. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Renslow.
And I'm Mike Johnson. There is some controversy surrounding a proposed restaurant and nightclub in Brooklyn Park.
The business would be located inside the Creekside Plaza on 85th Avenue. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on what's being proposed.
It doesn't fit this area right in here. This mall is meant for foot traffic, people that want to come through or people that live nearby to shop at restaurants, chiropractors, daycare.
The Creekside Strip Mall could soon get another tenant. If approved, the Gossip nightclub and restaurant would be located where Curves used to be.
This is the front entryway at Creekside Plaza, and there's a bouncer station. Everybody will be carded coming in.
The 3,500 square foot venue could accommodate up to 200 people.
And a VIP lounge and then general seating and bar area here.
The club would be owned by Rodney DeWalt. He owns several other establishments, including the Purple Martini in Oklahoma City.
The club is not going to be like Oklahoma City. This is an adult club, 25 and up. We will be featuring live entertainment, DJ music. We're trying to bring in some jobs to the community.
The new nightclub would be open until 2 a.m., and that's a problem for some people.
85% of my clientele is black.
It's not a race situation. It's just loud noise that people don't want to hear.
I'm concerned about the parking spilling over into the surrounding neighborhoods, people walking through our properties.
Now, the controversy seems to center around the club's location. There's a daycare on one side and a gym on another. Some folks say it's just not a good fit.
I spoke with the daycare operator. She told me that most of her clientele is out of the building by 6 p.m. So that's why we're opening up at 8.
Well, I think with the hours of operation and the proximity of the residential, I think it is a no-go.
Sherman says she's recommending the city deny the application for the club.
It has to do with parking. It has to do with proximity to the residential use and not being compatible.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
If his plan passes, Rodney DeWalt says there will be security in the parking lot to make sure no one is sitting in parking lot blasting music or causing trouble there. A public planning meeting will be held on Wednesday at City Hall at 7 p.m. to discuss the proposed club.
Walmart plans to add a gas station to its store in Brooklyn Park, but it will need city approval first, and there's already some opposition in the community.
Here's a petition, and here is a list of all the signatures.
Dan Tran owns a gas station nearby the Walmart store in Brooklyn Park, and he's leading a petition drive against the addition of another gas station. Walmart wants to partner with Murphy Oil and build a fuel station in the parking lot of its Brooklyn Park store. There are currently 5 gas stations within a mile radius of the store, and Tran is concerned added competition from a Walmart gas station could drive smaller shops like his out of business by selling gas below cost.
I'm not asking for any special treatment. I just want to ask for fairness, fair competition between small and big, and also secondly, quality and value to the community.
Brooklyn Park must grant a conditional use permit to Walmart before construction could begin. The city's planning commission will take up the matter at a public hearing Wednesday night at City Hall.
The Maple Grove City Council has suspended operations at a massage business for allegedly engaging in prostitution. According to city documents, the owner of Essential Massage attempted to engage in sexual activity for additional payment with an undercover officer. An employee of Essential Massage was also arrested. A hearing in 2 weeks will determine whether the business will have its license revoked. A project 4 years in the making is finally becoming a reality.
This afternoon, the City of Brooklyn Center held a groundbreaking ceremony for a new civic and veterans memorial amphitheater. Cassie Bonstrom joins us now live from the site that will soon look very different. Cassie?
Yeah, Mike and Alex, people have put many, many hours into this project, and they're very excited that the day is finally here. The idea started back in 2011 when the residents of Brooklyn Center decided that they wanted to do something to celebrate the city's 100-year anniversary.
It will become, or we would like to see it become, a mixing pot in a place where citizens of Brooklyn Center actually can congregate and get together and know each other and work together.
Eventually, the Centennial Committee decided on an amphitheater, something to serve as a place for veterans' memorial activities, concerts and plays and movies in the park. This afternoon, the mayor, city officials, and donors gathered at the park to break ground on the $500,000 project. It will replace the old stage currently used for events.
You've seen the bandwagon that we have? Well, it needs to be replaced. And so we figured this would be a very good place to put the money instead of buying another bandwagon, put in something like this. Plus, I'm also a veteran, so.
Mike and Alex, this project is going to be funded entirely by donations. No tax money is being used, but they are still short of their fundraising goal, which is why they're selling these pavers, these bricks that will be used that you can personalize and engrave. Then they will be permanently laid on the Walk of Honor that will surround the amphitheater. Now, this project is expected to be done in about 75 days, so approximately 3 months from now, this amphitheater will be available to the public. Reporting live in Brooklyn Center, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
All right, a work in progress. Thanks a lot, Cassie. Golden Valley is working to ease congestion at one of the city's busiest intersections. At rush hour, getting onto Highway 55 from Winnetka can take a while. Golden Valley has been working with MnDOT and Hennepin County to figure out ways to expand turn lanes and update the stoplights in an effort to reduce the wait to turn onto Highway 55. The $1.8 million project is set to get underway in June and should be finished by the fall.
The search for a new city manager in Brooklyn Park will include input from residents. The city will collect feedback at an open house tonight on what qualities residents would like to see in their next city manager. Mike Sable is currently filling the role on an interim basis. The city plans to select final candidates and conduct interviews starting next month.
The Coon Rapids Dam Regional Park offers scenic views of the Mississippi River. But according to the Three Rivers Park District, the park could use a refresher. It's why the Park District is beginning a year-long planning process to redevelop the park. It's been 40 years since park officials have updated its master plan. Three Rivers is working with the city of Brooklyn Park to reach out to groups who have historically not used regional parks. Citizens' input will play a big role in the planning.
I mean, there's just a really rare opportunity, especially in the first and the second ring suburbs, to have a blank slate for a park and really allow people to really say, what do we want the future of this area and this park to be? It's a beautiful park. It's along the Mississippi River, which is an amazing amenity to have.
Commissioner DeJordit says Three Rivers will start taking public input on a special website beginning in June, as well as at community festivals like Brooklyn Park's Tater Days. Coming up, taking a closer look at your food pantry.
Health Check takes a look at foods that may do more harm than good. Then later in sports, why the Wayzata Softball team is ready to make a move up in the standings this spring.
But first, the sun attempts to peek out on Wednesday, then look for more much-needed rain on Thursday. Spring cleaning is a common thing to do this time of year, but do you ever think about getting rid of some of the things in your cupboard?
In today's Health Check, Delane Cleveland reports that if the food you have in your cupboard contains certain ingredients, experts say now would be a good time to rid yourself of some of these items.
The convenience of boxed and processed food is a big reason why items like these end up in people's cupboards. But if you talk to registered dietitians from Nutritional Weight and Wellness in Maple Grove, there are a few common cupboard products people could just as well do without.
There are 6 things that I recommend that people remove from their cupboards. Foods that contain trans fats, processed carbohydrates, MSG, excess sodium, refined oils, and then artificial sweeteners.
She says each of the aforementioned ingredients can have negative effects on the body. Case in point, peanut butter and non-dairy creamers, which contain trans fat.
You want to avoid all trans fats because they increase inflammation and create cell damage in our bodies.
To replace peanut butter, she says to look for a brand with fewer ingredients. And rather than non-dairy creamer, use heavy whipping cream instead.
Next 2 items I have are examples of high processed carbohydrate foods.
She's referring to cereal and mac and cheese, which can create a blood sugar spike.
You might feel fatigued, you might have cravings or irritability.
She says to replace cereal with a breakfast of eggs, an apple, and nut butter, And rather than mac and cheese, replace that with canned tuna and mayo over a bed of greens.
So the next two examples I have here of canned soup and hamburger helper both include excess sodium and MSG.
She says those ingredients can lead to weight gain, fluid retention, and migraines. Her advice is to make your own homemade soup or chili using fresh ingredients.
One other thing that I recommend eliminating from the cupboards would be refined oils such as canola oil and corn oil.
Instead, use olive oil or coconut oil. If that's hard to remember, she says there's a simple rule people can follow.
Do you know how to pronounce the ingredient, and do you know what it is? If you don't, then you probably don't want to actually consume that and have that in your body.
For Health Check, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Coming up, a spring sight bird lovers won't want to miss.
But first in sports, it's the opening week of action in high school baseball. John Jacobson has a season preview of the Champlin Park baseball team when we come back.
A really nice day for a really good basketball player, Mr. Basketball. Got his award.
Yeah, it was announced a couple of weeks ago, but now actually has the hardware that he can bring home. The Champlin Park boys basketball team went undefeated until a loss in the state Class 4A championship game against Apple Valley. The Rebels' top player, JT Gibson, was honored at the school today as he was officially presented with his Mr. Basketball Award by Ken Lean from the Mr. Basketball Committee. The award goes to the top senior boys player in the state each season. Gibson averaged 19 points and 4.5 assists a game. It's a great feeling to be Mr. Basketball.
It's very special just to be honored to win this award. As I looked at the names of some of the players who won, it's a great list. Just to be a part of that, it feels so good. And to have my family and friends to come out and support me, also a great feeling. This season was very special just because, you know, we're like best of friends on and off the court with each other. So just to play together and to win a lot of games, it was overall a great season just to have.
Gibson is the second player from the area in 3 years to win the award. Quentin Hooker of Park Center was Mr. Basketball in 2013. Gibson will play college basketball next year at Nebraska Omaha. The high school baseball season gets underway for a lot of teams this week, including Champlin Park. The Rebels finished third in the Northwest Suburban Conference a year ago and reached the Section 5 3A final. Last summer, the Champlin VFW and American Legion baseball teams both reached the state tournament. And most of the players here were on one of those teams. The Rebels believe they have the talent to be a contender again.
We're really excited about some of the youth that we have in our program. We had some success last summer in the Legion and VFW program, so I think that hopefully will transfer over a little bit here to the high school season. But of course, like every other team, we're just going to really kind of focus on hopefully good quality starts out of our pitchers.
On the field, we'll be very fast. We got a lot of fast. We got a lot of speed. We hit the ball well. Our front end of the lineup should be pretty strong. Other than that, we should be a solid defensive team too.
While the Rebels graduated top pitchers Trevor Kaminsky and Brandon Rushmeyer from last year, they do bring back some experienced varsity guys, including senior all-conference outfielder Tim Munn, catcher Derek Smith, and first baseman Eric Pearson, among others. A bonus this spring for the Rebels and most other teams getting outside early in the year.
Last year was pretty difficult, especially the outfielders. We couldn't get a lot of work in. We went out in the parking lot actually for as long as we could, but it's been really nice not having many indoor practices this year.
It's a lot better, a lot better. It's really nice, especially instead of taking grounders off the hard gym floor, we're taking true hops out here on the grass and in the infield. So that's a lot better than what it was last year.
The Rebels have a busy schedule this week if weather permits. They are slated to host Elk River Wednesday, play at Maple Grove Thursday, and at Wayzata Friday. In softball, Wayzata brings back plenty of experience as they try to climb the ladder in the Lake Conference. The Trojans were last in the 5-team league with 3 conference wins in 2014. They did win 3 section games, gaining some valuable postseason experience. 7 regulars are back from that team, and there's plenty of optimism to start this season.
Our chemistry is really nice this year. Like, everyone's really close, and it's just really fun to play with all your really close friends and then bringing up these new kids to pass on the generation when we leave.
I'm expecting a lot because of how high of a skill level we have this year. We have a lot of really good young players and a lot of returners, like you said. We got a lot of good hitters, and on defense, we're always pretty solid on defense, so I think we're going to do really well this season.
Senior shortstop Anna Gimmelstead, a Bucknell recruit, is one of the better infielders in the metro area. Junior Reagan Palish pitched a lot when she was younger and will now take over as the primary pitcher for the Trojans. The Wayzata girls think there's a good chance to contend in conference and section play this spring.
Our motto this season is own your outcome, so we're definitely focusing on every thing that happens this season. We are responsible for it and we're owning up to it, so it should be good. We should be strong and definitely looking forward to this season. It'll be good.
They want to be perfect, and they're going to compete to try and be perfect, and they want to win the conference. They want to win the section and compete in the state tournament. So they know that it's a stepping stone, and they need to go day by day and worry about focusing on the conference games.
The Trojans are scheduled to host Burnsville Thursday in their season opener. Thursday might be a little iffy weather-wise, but these teams hoping to get these games in this week. We'll see.
All right. Thanks a lot, John. Coming up, no need to act like a bump on the log. Instead, we'll show you a way to make the log roll.
Plus, it's one of the finest sights of spring, a big attraction for devoted bird lovers when we come back.
If you have ever wanted to give log rolling a spin, this weekend is your chance to try it out. Golden Valley-based Key Log Rolling is partnering with the YMCA to offer a free practice session on Saturday afternoon, and it's open to the public at the Blaisdell YMCA in Minneapolis. Key Log Rolling and the YMCA are working to introduce the aquatic sport to a more diverse populations and also boost participation, including among local teens. Finally, for a group of bird watchers in Brooklyn Park, it is a sure sign of spring.
A pair of ospreys have returned to their nest high above the Coon Rapids Dam Regional Park in Brooklyn Park. They built their nest on an electric tower and return every year like clockwork. Bird watchers like Russell Ames are there to record the milestones every year from the day they arrive to the birth of young chicks and when they leave again for separate winter destinations.
They go on vacation, we say. He flies to South America and she goes someplace else. They don't go together. And she usually comes back anywhere from 2 to 3 days after he comes. And he'll come back and reclaim his territory, and then she'll come back up and they'll mate and have their babies up there.
Ames says he knows they go to different places in the winter because they are banded and tracked. And this year they arrived in Minnesota just 1 day before they did last year.
They just want to see the world.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.